Today on Perpetual Projects, we're gonna take this drive shaft out of our CJ7 project and shorten it by about 2 inches. We don't have a lathe and we don't have a balancer, but I'm not worried. You might be wondering how I know this is gonna work. I've done this before and with a lot less tools than we have in the shop. If you're new to the channel, at No Name Nationals in 2022, we broke a strap, the yoke, and the slip yoke on the drive shaft in our race truck extra parts. With the help of a few friends, Chad from Square Body Stuff, Robert from Lathe Welding, Richard, Jeff, and my dad, we were able to get the drive shaft put back together so we could go out there and break another strap, but the drive shaft survived. So I know this is gonna work. We didn't have a fancy anything. We didn't even have a lathe, we didn't have a balancer, we didn't have a vise there. We built that drive shaft on the back of a tailgate of a pickup. And I know that it works because it is currently in the truck and we've been driving it and it doesn't have any problems. The first thing we're gonna need to do is remove this weight because it's right in the middle of where we need to weld. Then we're gonna change the U-joints on both ends because in order to get this straight, we're gonna put it back in the Jeep and rotate it until our run out is near 0. The first thing we have to do to remove the U-joints is get the grease fittings out of the way. You don't always have to do this, but sometimes they get hung up and you'll just break them off and then it just makes a mess, so we're gonna take them off. The next thing we have to do is get these clips out. These are 1310 series U-joints, so have the outside clips. And these are old and rusty, so we're gonna start by, well, that went a lot, that's not what I was expecting to happen, but that works for me. We'll try that again. That was way easier than what I had planned. Did I just find a new hack for U-joints? So all I was trying to do was loosen the clip up, but 3 for 3, that's the easiest way I've ever taken those out. Okay, it's repeatable. That's 4 in a row that have come out super easy that way. This wasn't gonna be about a hack to get clips out, but there you have it. Once you have the clips out, I find it's easiest to balance your U-joint with the outside ears on a vise that's opened up enough so that this drive shaft will fit through there. Support the other end of the drive shaft and just tap down. One part of it went easy, the other part's gonna go really hard. This is kind of par for the course. And all the wheel bearings are falling out, so all right, so that gets our U-joint, or should get our U-joint out of there. Then you can just take a punch or something and knock the other cap. Nope. All you have to do is touch it and it'll fall out. I'm gonna do the other side. Careful you don't hit your greaser. You don't wanna break that. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out. And other than the fact that ours were missing caps, these U-joints probably were good. That's why we're replacing them, because some of the caps have gotten misplaced over the years of this project. Now I'm just gonna sand this where we're gonna cut it, but that makes an awful noise on the camera, so I'll do it off camera. Once we get done sanding most of the paint and rust off with, we're just using 180 grit emery cloth to get it, we get it at Harbor Freight. We're just gonna measure kind of from the center of the weld up to where we wanna cut it. And we wanna cut this right at the 2-inch mark. Now, the way I determined that is I measured the length center to center on what's in the Jeep with weight on the tires, so that's how long, I knew how long it needed to be. Then I centered our slip yoke here approximately, it'll go further than that, I just don't want to press all the grease out of it, but you can see that's where it was riding before. So just basically put it back where it was riding before. I measured this, and then I subtracted this length, or my desired length, from this length, and that gave me about 2 inches that I got to cut off. I mean, there's plenty of play here if we don't get it perfect. I mean, it doesn't have to be down to the 32nd. We have a bandsaw and that's how we're gonna cut it, but if you don't have one, a way that you can mark something round is if you take some wide masking tape and go around it and line everything up so that it goes completely back on top of itself without kind of pulling to the side. Usually that'll give you a pretty straight mark, and it doesn't have to be perfect because you've got a shoulder on this piece that fits down inside the drive shaft, so if it's off by a 1/16 or so, that's okay. So now we need to cut our weld, and remember there's a collar inside here, so you only want to cut through the thickness of your tube, not all the way through that collar, because we're going to use that to line everything up. This is kind of the tricky part, getting this off without ruining the yoke. It's really easy if you have a lathe. You just turn it down until it falls off, but I don't have a lathe, so. This is the way we did it at No Name National, so that's what I'm doing. But I'm gonna start with something smaller than that pry bar. So this is that ledge or collar that I was talking about. We're gonna have to go back and clean this edge up here so that that piece can seat tight down on there. All right, so now we gotta get our U-joint back in there so we can put this all together and put it in the Jeep and get it tacked up. So the first thing we need to do is, again, take our grease zert out. We don't wanna break it. And then I'm gonna face the grease zert towards the back of the drive shaft. I don't know that it matters. We're gonna take our first cap off, and these come pre-lubed and they have enough grease. Usually the bearings will stay in there. And this should be a somewhat tight fit. It shouldn't just fall in there. So we put our first U-joint in and just put it down in there so that it holds the needles. And this should be a tight fit, but it should not be really impossible to get it in there. If you don't line it up straight, that makes it harder to get in. If you're more comfortable, you can also do it this way. Just keep your U-joint up in there so it's holding those needles. We're gonna pause there and get the other side set in there. Make sure all our needles are standing up the way they're supposed to. And then when you pull this out, it's kind of a balancing act between holding the needles in the bottom cap and holding the needles in the top cap, and just kind of hold it in the middle. Okay. And then you'll know if you have a needle in there because the U-joint won't go all the way to one side or the other. You can see how the seal is going completely onto the U-joint. That means the needles should all be where they go. Now we just need to get a socket that fits inside there. Tap it down enough to expose the groove for your snap ring. Just make sure it locks all the way in and all the way around. Flip it over. Expose your groove, put your other snap ring in. It's not quite far enough down. If you get stuck and you can't get the snap rings in, there's a good chance that a needle fell over and is blocking it from going all the way together. Okay, there we go, it's locked in all the way around. And then your U-joint should move freely. It should not be bound up. If it's bound up, you can take this and put it back on your vise and give it a tap, and that'll seat those joints, the caps, against the clips. And actually saying that's probably not a terrible idea to do anyway. Don't forget to put your grease zerk back in. Once you get your caps and your U-joint all installed, just go ahead and take a couple wraps of electrical tape, or whatever. You can use masking tape. Electrical tape works well because it's pretty stretchy and it sticks good to itself. That will keep our caps from falling off as we finish building this drive shaft. I don't remember if I showed this before, but you can see here I have a mark. That was the side of the U-joint that was closest to the seam. If you look in here, you can see that this is seamed pipe, and so this part of the U-joint was closest to the seam. So we're going to put the seam up so we can see our mark, lay the U-joint, and we just want to make sure both of these ends are flat on the table and line that up. And we're making a mark so that we can line this up in the tube, because we're not going to be able to hammer it here because it'll just collapse the slip yoke and spray grease everywhere, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to put this back in the vise and we'll hammer that in. This isn't tight in the vise, it's just resting and everything's kind of staying where it goes. We use a rubber hammer. We don't want to collapse these caps. Well, they shouldn't, because there's a U-joint in there, but we just want to make sure. So I was a little bit afraid of that. We're probably going to have to go ahead and knock this slag from that weld off. It's going to prevent us from putting this in there. So I'm going to grab just a flap wheel on a drill. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're going to try it. It's not straight anymore. So we're going to try to turn this a little bit. I'm just going to put a mark on here so I can see if it turns.
I think it needs to go that way. I think your lines, when they're going down, were a little bit off the other direction.
Yes. There it is. There we go. Nice and solid now. So the next thing I'm gonna do, and we're not gonna show it, I'm just gonna grind this weld here with take all that weld off with a flap wheel and kind of clean this up just a little bit more. You can see I just ground off that weld, so this is pretty level. I'm being careful not to grind on this, because this is how we're gonna indicate if this is straight or not. I already bumped it here a couple times, and once this is lumpy, you'll know there's no way you can indicate off of it. So we'll actually have to come up here, and we'll just, once we get it in there, I have sandpaper down there so we can sand it some more. We're gonna go get this installed, and then I'll show you what our process is gonna be for making sure this thing's perfectly straight, and then we're gonna weld it. Okay, so now as you can see, we're under the Jeep. I've got one tire jacked up so we can turn this. Transfer case is in neutral, and if you watch as I turn this, we are about 105 thousandths off. That's the high spots. That's the low spot there. There's a little bit of play and when it goes back and forth. So what we need to do now is hammer this until we get that run out. as close to 0 as we can. I saw somewhere somebody said 11 thousandths is kind of like the magic number, but we're gonna see how close we can get to 0. All right, so we've got roughly about 5 thousandths of run out is what I've been getting. It's a little different every time you measure it. So you'll see that it's going up to 7 now, but it's not gonna go all the way back to 0. It went down to 1, so 5, maybe 6 thousandths of run out. I'm content with that. That is gonna be just fine. We're gonna go ahead and get this tacked up, and then we'll burn it and see if we'll tack it, check our run out, and then burn it and see how our run out turns out. Okay, let's see how we did. We're solidly, within probably 4 thousandths. And all I did there is I tacked the low side first so that if it pulled, or the high side first so that if it pulled, it would pull it together and that would make it lower. Just to try to minimize any run out that we induced with the welder. I'm gonna get my dial indicator out of there before I get any more crap on it, and we're gonna weld this. There you go. Pause the video right now and make your bets, because the next clip, we're also gonna road test it. You think it's gonna vibrate? All right, it's road test time. Let's see if our drive shaft will make the trip around the block and not vibrate. There you go. We made it home. It didn't break, and it drives nice and smooth, no vibration whatsoever. Now, if you're gonna be going 150 miles an hour on the quarter mile, or in some kind of circle track car or something, probably not the greatest idea. But for a basically stock Jeep that's never gonna see anything more than probably back road speeds, works perfectly. See you soon.